Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve. Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Crime drama Sydney Greenstreet, starring in the New Adventures of Nero-Wolfe. This episode, The Case of the Disappearing Diamonds, was originally broadcast March 9th, 1951. Now, somebody answer the telephone.
Ladies and gentlemen, the ringing of that phone bell brings you mystery, adventure. Nero-Wolfe's office, Archie Goodwin speaking. Willie Inch, did you say? Just a second. Do you want to talk to a fellow named Willie Inch, which I doubt?
No.
He says he's got to see you. Got to.
Who is he?
Well, I'll ask. Mr. Wolfe doesn't recognize your name, Mr. Inch. He wants to know who you are. Just a second, I'll tell him. Mr. Inch says he's a sneak thief. He says you never heard of him, but he's heard of you. Should I tell him to get lost?
Wait a minute, Archie. Ask him what he wants.
Inch, Mr. Wolfe wants to know what you want to see him about. A phony murder rap. Says a phony murder rap.
It'd have to be, wouldn't it, Archie?
How do you mean?
Phony, I mean. Did you ever hear of a sneak thief committing murder if it could possibly be avoided? Yes, Archie. Tell Mr. Inch. I'll listen to his story.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's that renowned genius who is the bulkiest, balkiest, most ponderous, and most brilliant detective in the world. Yes, none other than that chair-borne mass of unpredictable intellect, Nero-Wolfe, created by Rex Stout and brought to you in a new series of adventures over this NBC network in the person of Mr. Sydney Greenstreet. When Mr. Wolfe and I talk about this little difficulty, he calls it the case of Archie Goodwin and how he got hooked. However, I call it the case of the disappearing diamonds. I prefer my title. He prefers his. Anyhow, it started with an improbable character named Willie Inch.
That'll be our sneak thief, Archie. Let him in.
Okay, boss.
Okay?
Inch?
Yeah.
Come in. In there. I'll follow you. Mr. Wolfe, this is your client.
Mr. Inch?
Yeah.
Tall fellow. Must be over 6'6". Sit down.
Where?
Archie?
Here, Mr. Inch. This ought to be comfortable.
Well, Mr. Inch?
Look, Mr. Wolfe, they're going to claim that I killed a woman I never even touched. And I'm going to fry for something I never even done.
All right, Mr. Inch. How did you kill her?
I didn't. I never killed nobody in my life.
Mr. Inch, you say you're a thief. Can you prove it?
I got a record. Why?
I was wondering about that bulge in your pocket.
Oh, here? It's a silver cigarette lighter, ain't it? I guess it sort of dropped into my pocket as I was going by. You see the way it happened?
Never mind, Mr. Inch. Now tell me how you didn't kill the woman for whose murder you will fry.
Well, Mr. Wolfe, sir, it was like this. There was a window half open, you see, and I happened to crawl inside the house. But hey, now.
Well, Mr. Inch?
This is just between us, ain't it?
Possibly.
How do you mean?
Explain, Archie.
Mr. Wolfe said possibly.
Oh, well, okay. So I happen to find myself in the bedroom, see? So I happen to sort of roam around, and I hear there's like a party going on. You know, people and music. So I lock the door.
So go on.
Let him tell it his own way, Archie. Well, Mr. Inch?
So that's the mistake I make.
The mistake?
Maybe I leave my fingerprints on the door.
So?
So later, a dame gets herself knocked off in the same room, and they look for fingerprints, and they find mine. I'm it. That's all. I got a record. So the chair.
I see. Pitiful case, isn't it, Archie?
Very, very mournful.
Inch.
Yes, sir?
I presume you came away with some souvenirs?
Oh, nothing. It wasn't worth the trouble. You know, just odds and ends, junk.
Have you got the junk with you?
Yeah.
Let me see.
Here.
Cigarette case, platinum. Lighter, gold. Vanity case, gold. That's all?
Positively.
Junk, the man says.
I promise nothing, Mr. Inch, but it might be better if you told the truth.
Me?
You.
Oh, well.
One square-cut emerald ring.
I just happened to find it. Here's something more.
A pewter ashtray.
Look, the room is dark. I can't see. Piles of coats under beds and hats and handbags. I take what I find.
Why didn't you turn on the lights?
One of these big standing lamps. You know what I mean.
Go on.
I bump into it, and it scares the living... it scares me.
So?
I turn the switch. It don't work.
Archie.
That sounds like the law, boss.
The law.
Stay right where you are, Willie. May I suggest that there is a way to find out, Archie?
Okay. We don't want any.
Good morning, Goodwin. You remember me, your old friend, Inspector Kramer? 2 gentlemen with me are also with the department, Pearlie and Ostrakovich. May we come in?
What do you want?
We want a murderer, and we want some rocks worth $250,000. Does that answer your question?
What makes you think you'll find all those goodies here?
Come in, men. We know Willie Inch is here. Where is he?
Now, just a second.
We're coming with you, Goodwin.
Okay, Inspector, come along.
Well, Archie?
The law.
That's Willie Inch. Frisk him. No weapons? Okay, just put the cuffs on him.
Inspector Kramer.
Oh, yes. Hello, Wolf.
I want to tell you something about this man whom you and your men have so bravely captured in my office.
You don't need to tell me about him, Wolf. We know about him.
Do you indeed?
Yes. We know he killed Mrs. Florence Avery Marsh and stripped $250,000 worth of diamonds off her. That's all we need to know.
I didn't do no such a thing.
Where's the ice, Willie?
I never even seen none, honest.
Take him away, boys. I'll make the charge when I get back to my office.
Wait. Mr. Wolf, sir.
Take him.
Look, I ain't done nothing, I tell you.
Inspector Kramer.
Yeah. We're going to have a little talk now, aren't we?
If necessary.
How do you mean?
Explain, Archie.
Mr. Wolf means you're going to have a little talk, if necessary.
Very funny. I will now draw up a chair and show you why it's necessary. In the first place, $250,000 worth of diamonds makes it necessary.
Archie, if you please, a bottle of beer.
Okay. Will the inspector name his poison?
You know I never drink on duty.
And just for me, Archie, please.
On my way. While I opened a bottle of imported beer, it occurred to me that I had something to be grateful for. At least I wasn't in Willie Inch's enormous shoes. And as I went back to the office, I had time to wonder why Mr. Wolf would stick his fat neck out for a no-good like Willie.
Thank you, Archie, and sit down, Archie. Inspector Kramer has a theory that may amuse you.
Nero-Wolfe's office. It's for you, Inspector.
Hello, Kramer. Yeah? A gold cigarette holder? That's all? Okay.
Inspector, do you realize that you have already taken a great deal of my time?
Archie,
Yes, Inspector?
the great Mr. Wolf just said I had a theory that might amuse you. Would you care to hear it?
I can hardly wait.
Okay. My theory is that both Wolf and you are receivers of stolen property and possibly guilty of murder conspiracy.
So far, you got me in stitches.
Willie Inch, with a record as long as your arm, robs the home of Mrs. Florence Avery Marsh. He strangles her with a silk scarf, takes the diamond she's wearing, grabs everything else that's lying around, and then what?
Is it a question?
I'll tell you what.
He will, too. Archie, listen.
Then Inch brings the stuff here, the stuff that's piled on Wolf's desk, and the diamonds. You want me to tell you where the diamonds are? They're in that safe right there.
Inspector Kramer, I know nothing about the diamonds. They are not in the safe, and they're not in the house. Now, you can take my word for it, or you can get a search warrant and make a fool of yourself. I'm going to have lunch.
March 9th, 1951, The New Adventures of Nero-Wolfe on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Are you suffering with arthritis or osteoporosis? Do you have diabetes? Did you know that these are just 2 of the hundreds of diseases that have seen improvement with Dr. Wallach's incredible longevity products? You can't get them at a health food store. The only way to get them is to call us at 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Do you have heart disease, fibromyalgia, or high blood pressure? Do you have a terrible time losing weight? Dr. Wallach can help. He was a veterinarian and cured diseases in animals. He felt that he could do the same for humans, so he became a physician. Over 50 years of research and helping people like you goes into every bottle of Dr. Wallach's amazing discoveries. Do you want to feel better? Learn how to treat the cause of your problem rather than covering up the symptoms with drugs. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. 0065.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox Moore, The New Adventures of Nero-Wolfe, starring Sydney Greenstreet, March 9th, 1951.
By 2 o'clock, the newspapers were full of the murder of Mrs. Florence Avery Marsh. The suspect was already in custody, caught at the home of Nero Wolfe, well-known private investigator. Some of the stolen jewelry had been recovered, but not the diamonds. Then we had a visit from Mr. Anson Stark, who had opened Mrs. Marsh's door and found her dead. Stark was a big athletic guy of about 30 or so, with the large, capable hands of a surgeon or a laboratory worker. He seemed annoyed at the inconvenience we caused him, but that was only natural.
That's the story, Mr. Wolfe. I don't see how I can add anything more to it.
You had known Mrs. Marsh for several years, huh?
Casually.
When you broke the door open, was it difficult?
Not very.
You were the first into the room?
There were 3 or 4 of us. We pushed in together.
You saw the body of Mrs. Marsh immediately?
She was lying across the bed that was heaped with coats and hats and handbags.
You knew she was dead?
Of course not. In fact, somebody else discovered that she had been choked to death.
And who discovered that the diamonds were gone?
I don't know. I didn't.
Were there many diamonds, Mr. Stark?
No, just a few, but big ones. She wore them on a pendant around her neck.
Mr. Stark, I want to thank you again for having been so patient.
I have been patient, Mr. Wolfe. I have my own business to attend to.
Which is?
Oh, I have a small but hopeful enterprise. Electronics, tubes for radio and television, mostly experimental.
Oh, that reminds me, Mr. Stark. When you entered the bedroom, was the light on or off?
Let me see. Of course, it was on. It must have been on. Why?
Just curiosity, Mr. Stark.
Oh? Anything more?
That's all, except thank you for coming here. Archie, will you take Mr. Stark to the door?
Mr. Stark departed like a man who'd been delayed by a petty annoyance. A few minutes later, the door buzzed. And I went, expecting anything. Anything but what was standing on the threshold when I opened up. A honey blonde. Or, to put it another way, a blonde honey. I said hello. No, more like hello.
Are you Mr. Wolfe?
I'm his assistant, Archie Goodwin, and what can we do for you?
Well, I'm Valerie Ladd.
And I'm Archie Goodwin. Or did I tell you that?
Well, that's exactly where I came in. Well, I mean, where I thought you were going to ask me to come in.
Oh, come in. I'm sorry.
Well, is he here?
Wolf?
Mm-hmm.
Does he know you?
No.
Is he expecting you?
No.
I see.
Of course you don't see, do you? Well, this is it, Mr. Goodwin. I'm a writer. Well, I may not look like it, but that's what I am, and I want to do a profile, a character study of Mr. Wolfe for a magazine.
Uh-oh.
Well, what's wrong?
Well, you see, there's a writer named Rex Stout.
Oh, I know. He's written a lot about Nero Wolfe, but, well, can't I write about him, too?
I don't know if he's going to like it, but you can't be shot for trying. Come on. Mr. Wolfe, this is Valerie Ladd.
Pardon me for not rising, Miss Ladd. It is not impolite. It is merely impracticable.
Miss Ladd wants to write about you for a magazine.
Please, Mr. Wolfe.
Nonsense.
Mr. Wolfe, if I could just spend a few hours with you, that would be enough.
Would it indeed?
Oh, yes.
Have you written much, Miss Ladd?
Oh, reams.
You know, the habits of writers interest me.
The habits?
The writing habits. For instance, do you use a pen or a pencil? Do you dictate, or like most writers, do you do your own typing?
Mr. Wolfe, if you knew the hours and days and years that I've pounded a typewriter.
Of course. Archie.
Yes, sir?
Why don't you take Miss Ladd up and show her the orchids?
You never know about Nero Wolfe. At least I never do. This was something I would have bet against 1,000 to 1. I couldn't understand it. But I certainly couldn't complain.
Archie, look at this one. Oh, did you ever see anything so gorgeous?
Very pretty.
They're all just beyond belief.
Yeah?
But you're not even looking at them, Archie.
What? Oh.
Archie, are you always like this?
What do you mean like this?
Well, so distant and preoccupied.
Honey, you got me wrong. Completely. I was thinking.
Oh.
Yeah, about telephone numbers.
Well, it's a lovely thing to think about. What can you think about telephone numbers?
I was thinking how some girls have them and some don't.
Oh, I see. Archie, I apologize.
For what?
I did have you wrong. You're not a bit distant.
I can be a lot closer than this, honey. What is it?
What's what?
The number.
Oh, it's in the book.
Yeah? I wonder.
Sound as if you don't believe me.
Oh, I believe you, but here's a telephone book here. Let's look it up together, shall we?
Archie.
Yeah.
I'm afraid I lied to you.
I was afraid of that, too.
Are you angry?
Well, I can take no for an answer, honey. Even when it's hard to take.
Archie, I've changed my mind. I want you to have my number. And I want you to use it, too.
You know, honey, I'm beginning to take an interest in this dialogue. Let's have it.
Okay. Olympia 93659.
And a very, very pretty number it is. Valerie Ladd. 2 D's?
Mm-hmm.
Olympia 93659. Honey blonde. Gorgeous.
Oh.
Spelled gorgeous. There. What are we doing tonight, Olympia 9?
And I said that you were distant and preoccupied.
We were talking about tonight.
All right, Archie. Yes, I'd love it. Oh, these orchids, they're really beyond belief. And you won't even look at them.
True. I'm too busy looking at you.
Well, how do I look, Archie?
Beyond belief, honey. Beyond belief. Well, there goes the Goodwin luck again. It's a house phone, partner.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Okay. He wants us to come down.
Archie?
Yes, dear.
Even if he says no, we still have a date?
Honey, though the heavens fall. When we entered the office, Mr. Wolfe was frowning over a sheet of letter paper in his hand. He looked up and tossed the paper to me.
That is a peculiar thing, Archie. The sheet of letter paper just arrived. Since Miss Ladd is interested in detection, show it to her.
Thank you. Well, some sort of code, isn't it? QWERTYUIOP. That's all. What do you suppose it means?
You're kidding.
Archie.
Oh.
What? Did I say something wrong?
No.
Miss Ladd, I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I haven't time for an interview just now. Goodbye, Miss Ladd.
Oh, but Mr. Wolfe.
Goodbye. Archie?
Say goodbye to Mr. Wolfe and let's go, honey.
Goodbye.
That's the way things can be around here. Well, here's the door, and shall we pause for station identification?
I'll wipe it off, Archie. There.
Thanks.
Oh, what happened, Archie?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, Mr. Wolfe, I mean.
Oh.
Why did he suddenly want me to go?
Well, I'll tell you, though I don't know whether I should. That code message he showed you?
Yes.
QWERTY up.
You remember?
Yeah, sure. Because I use a typewriter. From left to right, it's the first bank of letters on any typewriter.
I see. It was a test.
Yeah. And you flunked it, baby. You're no writer.
Archie, I can explain
Sure.
it.
Tonight.
Tonight, Archie. You do believe me, don't you, Archie?
Oh, of course, baby, of course.
Well, it's just that I was there at the party, when poor Florence was murdered. Then I read in the paper about, how they caught the man at Nero-Wolfe's. And I always wanted to be a writer, so I thought if I could get an exclusive interview that would be a good way to start my career, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. Pardon me a second, will you, Valerie? I gotta make a phone call. There's a booth. It'll only take a minute or two.
Nero-Wolfe speaking.
Archie, I'm at the Riviera with Valerie Ladd.
I'm happy for you, Archie.
I will remind you that I have not seen you since Valerie left the house.
I was otherwise occupied, Archie.
With orchids.
With orchids? What do you want, Archie?
Look, with that typewriter gag, you practically told me she was a phony, didn't you?
Of course.
Just for the record, how did you know?
Have you looked at her fingernails? She never touched a typewriter in her life. But I wanted to be sure.
Okay, now do you want me to tell you something?
You mean that your charming companion Valerie was at the party when Mrs. March was murdered?
How did you know that?
Simple, Archie. I got a list of the guests from Inspector Kramer. Among them was the name of Valerie Laddway. Simple?
Ladd. Yeah, sure. Okay, what am I supposed to do about it?
Just hang on, Archie. Just hang on.
I went back to the honey blonde, the beautiful phony Valerie Ladway. I went back to the table where she should have been, but she wasn't there. I sat down and waited. Looked at my watch, 11:24. 11:32, no Miss Ladway. 11:45, I finally realized that not only Valerie, but her coat and bag were also absent. I called the waiter.
Yes, sir?
What happened to my friend?
The young lady left some time ago, sir.
Okay, give me the bill.
She paid it, sir.
She did?
Yes, sir. In fact, she said you gave her the money for it.
Yeah? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Well, I didn't know it, but she is certainly right.
Oh, my. Well, Archie, this is most thoughtless of you.
Sorry, I lost my keys. My money, too.
Your keys, Archie?
Yeah. Glad you were still up.
You lost Miss Ladway, too?
Definitely. I'm going to bed.
Good night, Archie.
March 9th, 1951, The New Adventures of Nero-Wolfe. The conclusion next. Classic radio theater with Wyatt Cox. But first, these messages.
No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secrets to lose 3 to 5 pounds a week easily without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt by Med Diet. For the last 2 decades, we've been helping people just like you that have pounds they want to shed. We've helped millions of people lose thousands and thousands of pounds over the years. And now it's your turn. Learn the secrets of how to lose weight with one simple phone call. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a money-back guarantee. If you're ready to start losing weight right now, call right now to learn more about your risk-free order to Body Sculpt.
Call for your risk-free offer. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. That's 800-738-5332.
Thank you for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now the conclusion of The New Adventures of Nero-Wolfe, The Case of the Disappearing Diamonds, March 9th, 1951.
You think it's funny, don't you?
Yes, Archie. Yes, I do.
Good night, Mr. Wolfe.
Archie.
Yeah?
Before you retire, one thing.
What?
Open the safe, will you? And leave it open.
Why?
Because there's nothing in it of importance. And it's a valuable safe, and I don't want it damaged. Good night, Archie.
At about 2 o'clock in the morning, I thought I heard a noise. I got up, put on the rest of my pajamas, picked up my gun, and went down to the office. The man had his head in the safe, and everything was scattered all over. I stepped inside the door. Put your hands behind your back and stand up.
Huh? Okay.
Now, just what are you after, When I woke up, I was alone on the office floor. I did not feel good. The place looked as if a hurricane had struck it. Every file drawer had been emptied. I felt a draft from somewhere. Got to my feet, trying not to joggle my head too much. There was the front door standing open. Closed it gently. Then very, very gently, I groped my way to the kitchen for ice, water, and towels.
Archie.
What? Oh, didn't you hear me scream?
No. Is it bad?
It's better.
You're angry, aren't you?
Nuts.
What, Archie?
I said nuts, Mr. Wolfe, nuts.
I'm sorry about what happened.
Yeah, you expected it.
But I didn't expect you to be caught by somebody behind you. You must have known there would have been 2 of them.
Now, how would I know that? How?
Think of Mr. Ladway's delicate hands. Do you believe she intended to open the safe herself?
You think she stole my keys and so on. Well, let me tell you... Hey, wait. That guy was digging in the safe that... Then who hit me in the head?
Archie, someday you'll be the death of me. In the morning, will you tell Inspector Kramer I'd like to see him here?
Fuming and protesting, Kramer arrived about 1:30. When I let him into the office, Mr. Wolfe was gazing thoughtfully at the ground floor plan of the house of the late Mrs. Florence Avery Marsh. We'd gotten it from the original architects. Wolfe looked up and almost smiled.
Thank you for coming to me, Inspector. You know how difficult it is for me to come to you.
Okay, what's up?
I take it you haven't found the diamonds.
No, not yet. We'll break Inch down, though. Don't think we won't.
Oh, I'm sure. But this is what I want to ask you, and it's quite serious.
Okay, all right, what?
After the body was found, your men arrived at the house before anyone left.
Right.
And before anybody was allowed to go, every person was searched thoroughly.
Nobody could have gotten a pin or a needle out of that place.
I know something about police methods, and I believe you. Now, how thoroughly did you search the house itself?
Wolf, look. We've got that floor plan you're studying now. There are no hidden closets. Every square inch of that house has been examined. The diamonds aren't there. Willie Inch killed the dame and snatched the diamonds. What he did with them, we'll find out.
Possibly. Goodbye, Inspector.
At approximately 3:15, the postman arrived with an envelope for me. The envelope contained my keys, the bill from the Riviera, and the money left after the check was paid. At approximately 5:07 p.m., I discovered that Wolfe had been using the telephone all by himself. He explained. He was going to have a party. He had invited all of the guests who were at Mrs. Florence Avery Marsh's somewhat fatal party, including Anson Stark, Willie Inch, and Valerie. Nero-Wolfe, the natural-born ham, he made an entrance that would have been worthy of Queen Victoria in her heavier days. He sat in his oversized throne behind his oversized desk and beamed at the peasants. Valerie moved toward me.
I'm sorry, Archie, but you must know why I did it.
Why?
Well, you said I wasn't a writer. I wanted to prove that you weren't a detective.
Did you take the stuff while we were dancing?
I could have. Couldn't I?
You could have bumped me on the head last night, too, couldn't you?
Oh, Archie.
Let it go. It was humiliating, though.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you realize the purpose of this party. We want to know who killed Mrs. Marsh and what became of her diamonds. Mr. Inch.
Yeah?
When you visited the room where the body was found, the room was dark?
The bulb was burned out. I tried to turn it on.
If there had been a body on the bed, would you have seen it?
Maybe. With all those coats, maybe not.
Sure. Mr. Stark?
Yes, I said the light was on. Perhaps I was wrong. What of it?
You're engaged in the manufacture of tubes for radio and television, huh?
I told you that.
Inspector Kramer.
Yeah, what?
A light bulb was found in the wastebasket in the room where Mrs. Marsh died.
Yeah, like you said, we tried the bulb in the socket and it worked. So what?
One more question. Does anybody remember whether Mr. Stark was carrying a bundle or a package under his arm when he arrived at Mrs. Marsh's party?
Oh, I do, Mr. Wolfe. I think he had a box of flowers.
That's true. I did bring flowers.
No, Mr. Stark. That box contained 2 parts of a light bulb and some adhesive. During the party, you strangled Mrs. Marsh, put the diamonds into the light bulb, assembled the thing, and screwed it into the lamp socket. Archie, stop him. Really, Archie, it was quite simple. Light bulbs are only a stem glass bowl and a brass sheath. Yet nobody, including the police, would think of looking inside one. And Mr. Stark could come back and collect his treasure any time after the excitement had died down. What's the matter, Archie?
I got a headache.
Valerie Ladby. Poor girl. She and whoever the man was with her must have thought the diamonds were here. That bump on your head will be better in the morning. A bottle of beer, please, Archie.
I'm going to bed.
Yes. Why must you place such confidence in women? Remember what happened to Mark Antony and Samson and Archie Goodwin. Good night, Archie.
You have been listening to The New Adventures of Nero-Wolfe, starring Sydney Greenstreet. Tonight's transcribed story by Mindred Lord was based on the characters created by Rex Stout, produced and directed by J. Donald Wilson. This is an Edwin Fadiman production. In the cast were Harry Bartell as Archie Goodwin, and G.G. Pearson, Bud Heaston, Gray Stafford, Dick Ryan, and Bill Johnstone. Next week at this same time, Nero Wolfe and Archie will bring you The Case of the Midnight Ride. Don Stanley speaking.
March 9th, 1951, The New Adventures of Nero-Wolfe on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your shoulder hurts. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you. And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required. Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. That's 800-492-8164.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we head to Wistful Vista, 79 Wistful Vista to be precise, and we check in on the doings of the household of Fibber McGee and Molly. This originally broadcast March 9th, 1956.
Mr. and Mrs. Fibber McGee of 79 Wistful Vista are going out to dinner this evening with Dr. George Gamble and friend.
McGee, they'll be here any minute to pick us up. Aren't you ready yet?
I'm all set, kiddo. All but my necktie.
Did you wash good before you put on that clean shirt?
Yeah.
Turn around. Let me see your ears. Okay, you're fine.
Well, thank you. Look, which tie should I wear? This red and gold striped one with a hand-painted horse? Or one of my loud ones?
Ooh, that's a tough choice. You know, Pierre's restaurant is a rather dignified place, so...
Yeah, you're right. Okay, I'll wear the quiet one with the horse. Put the loud one back. Oh, and by the way, kiddo...
Yes?
I'm a little short on dough. Doc and I agreed to make this Dutch treat tonight, but even going Dutch, I've only got $6.
Okay, Hans. Here's $5. Let's not have any embarrassment tonight for a change.
Thanks. I'll go get my coat and hat and be all ready when Doc and Cuddles get here.
McGee, watch it, will you? You dropped the $5 I just gave you.
No, I didn't. I got it right here.
What's that on the floor? There's a $5 bill there on the floor.
Oh, for the... I'll be darned. Must have fell out of my old vaudeville scrapbook when I put it in the bookcase a while ago. I haven't seen this old $5 in years.
Who cares how old it is as long as it's good old American money?
Yeah, but it isn't. Here, take a look.
It says $5 right on the... Oh, $5 stage money.
Yeah.
United Snakes of America. Yeah. Oh, for heaven's sake.
You see there in the corner where it usually says 5 in small print? What does it say?
Phony, it says.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy. Me and old Fred Nittany. You know Fred Nittany, the guy that I and him had a vaudeville act together from Starved Rock, Illinois together. We used to use that in our act. In vaudeville. I ever tell you about the time I and old Fred were paying up...
Oh, thank goodness. Get your hat and overcoat on. Be right with you, Doctor. My, this lobster is delicious.
Oh, it certainly is. How's your steak, George?
Oh, perfect, Cuddles. Nancy, it's just what the doctor ordered.
This is a pretty high-class hash house, George. Mm-hmm. Good service and everything. Hey, maybe I ought to leave this bill under my plate for a tip. Imagine the look on the waiter's puss when he sees a $5 bill.
Oh, McGee, put that stage money away. We've all seen it, and you've had your little joke.
Well, it certainly looks like real money, doesn't it? First glance, anyhow. Where'd you ever get it?
It's a souvenir, Miss Cuddleson. It's from my old days. When a very dear friend of mine, Mr. Frederick Nittany, and myself, we were in the theater together.
Oh, well, I didn't know you have a theatrical background, Mr. McGee.
You mean he's never mentioned Mr. Frederick Nittany before?
Well, no, I don't think.
Oh, you lucky girl. McGee usually brings up his old days in the theater at the drop of a hat, before it hits the ground even.
Well, I think this is just fascinating, don't you, George?
I had a most unusual case yesterday. A fella came in with a swollen elbow
Oh, George, some other time.
No.
Tell me about your theatrical experiences, Mr. McGee. Life on the stage has always fascinated me.
Well, he wasn't always on the stage. You see...
You know, I dreamed of a career in the theater myself when I was a little girl. My great-grandfather was a Shakespearean actor. Perhaps you've heard of him. Sir Arthur Mansfield.
Sir Arthur Mansfield? Well, of course. Who hasn't?
He was your grandfather? Say, you never...
Great-grandfather, George. And to think, tonight, at this very moment, I'm sitting next to another member of that great and exciting profession. What did you do in the theater, Mr. McGee?
About that elbow, Doc. You say this guy walked in and it was swollen? Elbows always interested me ever since Senator McCarthy had that trouble with his swollen elbow. And then for the finale...
McGee would sit on Mr. Frederick Nittany's shoulders.
And juggle red, white, and blue Indian club.
Oh, no. Oh, that must have been wonderful.
Yeah, well, while Mr. Nittany rode his unicycle in a circular pattern to the lively tune of the Stars and Stripes Forever.
Oh, that's priceless. Did you actually do that, Mr. McGee?
That's right. Of course, show business has changed quite a bit since then. You don't see that kind of an act anymore around. But back in the old days when old Fred and I had us our...
Yeah. Well, it's getting late, McGee. Come on, dear. Let's go powder our noses while the check is being taken care of.
That's a good idea. My arm, Molly. Well, thanks a lot, Doc. It's been fun.
Sit down.
Yeah, she was talking to me, Mr. McGee.
He knows it. The big clown. He's always acting silly.
Oh, I think he's cute.
Cute?
Yes, I do.
Oh.
That's what everyone says.
Don't encourage him, Nancy, or he'll do a headstand for you right here on this table.
You want to see me? I used to do
No! Come on, Nancy.
on a plate.
We'll meet you boys up front.
Oh, this has been a lot of fun tonight, Molly.
Well, it's a good thing for you I came along tonight, George. Your girl would have had a very dull time.
Sure.
Trouble with you is you're too conservative, Fatso. You're too conventionable. What you ought to have is a little of my savoir. My nom de plume.
Your what?
My nom de plume. That's French for to heck with everybody, let 'em stare.
They always do, all right.
Hey, there's no reason to sit here waiting for the waiter. Leave the tip and give me your half the check. I'll pay the cashier up in front.
Okay, I don't see why not.
Like I say, with a guy like me along, there's always a lot of laughs, and these days laughs are hard to come by.
Oh, McGee, you didn't.
Yeah, well, gee whiz, I don't know how it happened, but I gave the cashier that phony five of mine by mistake.
Oh, great. You'll get halfway out of that door and the police will be all over you.
Oh, surely they wouldn't do anything.
Gee whiz, I don't know what to do. I just have
don't stand there till she discovers it and blows the whistle on you, rum-dum. Go tell the girl what happened and ask her
Oh, no. What if she don't believe it was a mistake? What if she calls the cops? Maybe it ain't even legal to own that stage money anymore. I don't know. Gee whiz, this is a mess.
Oh, dear. United Snakes of America, it says on the bill. If she takes a look at that...
Hey, I got an idea. If she didn't notice it when I gave it to her, she won't notice it when she gives it to somebody else. Quick, Doc, you got a 10 spot?
Well, yes, right here, but...
Good, give it to Molly. We gotta hurry before somebody else comes up and pays a check. Take the 10, Molly, quick.
Yeah, but what...
Go on, hurry over there and give her Doc's 10 and ask for 2 5s. My phony 5 must be right on top, and she'll give it to you.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. My, if this isn't...
If it doesn't work, McGee, you break for the door. I'll block the manager, and Cuddles, you grab the cashier.
Oh, George, stop it.
Just doing it for McGee, my dear. He likes his laughs. When McGee's along, there's always a million laughs, and we don't...
Oh, cut it out, Lard. I'm nervous. Now, look, she's getting it. See? She's getting the 2 5s.
Thank you very much, miss.
Boy, oh, boy, I hope this is... Hey, let me have it quick, Molly. Let me have it.
No luck.
What? Let me see, quick.
They're both good 5s.
Oh, dear, what a shame. What can we do now?
What can we do? Try it again, that's all. You got another 10, Doc?
Well, yes, but this is silly. Why don't you tell the girl...
Oh, no. Gee whiz, I can't go confess now.
Oh.
Hurry up. Go over there and get 2 5s for a 10 again. Go on.
Me?
Oh, go ahead, George. Let's get this settled and get out of here. The manager is looking at us, and I'm embarrassed.
Okay. I'll swear I don't know how McGee gets into these messes, but... I don't feel like a counterfeiter with everybody.
Well, how'd you do, Doc? How'd you do? Did you get it? Quick, let me see.
Dear, I'm afraid to look.
I certainly hope.
Oh, dad ratted luck. Anyhow, 2 good 5s again.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Oh, Oh, my gosh, there goes a waiter over that way. He's going to pay a check. Quick, Doc, another 10. It's your turn, Cuddles.
No, I have no other 10. That was my last one.
You got any singles?
Yes, 2.
Oh, here, I've got one, and 30 cents.
Here's a dollar bill and 60 cents. That's $4.90. Another dime is what we need. Another dime. Quick, McGee, a dime.
A dime. I'm looking. Oh, my gosh, I ought to have a dime. I used to keep a dime here in the secret pocket of my wallet, but no, Dad ratted. All I got in here is that phony $5 bill that we've been talking. Oh.
What?
What did you say, McGee?
You still got that 5?
The stage money?
Yeah. Imagine that. I didn't give it to her after all. I must have... Well, gee whiz, at least we had some laughs, kids. Don't get sore. Molly, Doc, talk to me, somebody. Miss Cuddleson, you said I was cute. Gee whiz, the way you all act, I ain't cute.
Molly, have you seen my Phony Five since we got home? The fake fin that caused all the fracas?
Yeah, it was on the coffee table there, and I picked it up.
What'd you do with it?
Well, you remember when Dr. Gamble asked for a light for his cigar, and I gave it to him?
Yeah, you mean?
Yeah. I've always wanted to see a cigar lit with a $5 bill, and I couldn't think of a cheaper way to do it.
Oh. Well, so long, everybody.
See you Monday.
Fibber McGee and Molly, transcribed, is brought to you Mondays through Fridays at this time by Miles Laboratories, makers of Alka-Seltzer. Arthur Q. Bryan as Dr. Gamble, and Peggy Knudsen appeared as Miss Cuddleson. This is John Wall saying, join the fun Monday on Fibber McGee and Molly.
Fibber McGee can get in the darndest messes. March 9th, 1956, Fibber McGee and Molly here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. If you enjoy building a radio collection of your own, our friend Ted over at RadioMemories.com has a huge collection of his as well. And he supplies the shows to people at a very reasonable price on cassette, on CD, or flash drive. And you can contact Ted at RadioMemories.com. That's RadioMemories.com. And if you are not internet connected, Ted can fix you up real well on the phone at area code 501-920-6089. 501-920-6089. Calling during daytime hours, please. It would really be best. RadioMemories.com. They supply us a lot of shows that we air here. Also, folks, I would like to remind you about my webpage, which is classicradio.stream. There you can stream our shows on demand, learn more about classic radio collecting, and contact me. classicradio.stream. If you miss a day on this station, you do not miss a single show. You can hear them on classicradio.stream, also through iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, TuneIn, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Amazon. Just search for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Please take some time to thank this radio station and support their advertisers. It is their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you here. And always tell your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater on your favorite radio station.